Hey everyone, we'll get started at like 7:03. Just give us a second for everyone else to filter in.
Why is everybody so quiet?
We're starting at 7:03. I just wasn't being chatty. Hi Tim.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
Spectacular.
Great. Good to hear. Everyone have a good week? Tired of the cold?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm ready for the rain to be done. Although
Well,
it seems like it might be done soon.
have you looked at Thursday yet, Allie?
We get a little break. Tomorrow's Wednesday.
True. Weekend looks good.
Okay, everyone, we'll just get started now. It's close enough. Does anyone have corrections to the minutes from the previous meeting? Any corrections? Okay, they are approved as written. Then we are going to share our screen and move right into reports. Miles, you can go ahead if as I pull it up.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just start because it's on the slide. I'll just start in any order. But coming up, I have a meeting with Provost Kirsch and Vice President Rue. So those two should be fun, and hopefully by that time, with those meetings, we'll see a post kind of surge atmosphere at Wake, especially with the COVID issue. That's going on. I saw the dashboard. It seems like we're going down. It seems like we're heading in a good direction. So hopefully we can keep that up. Another thing, Dr. Ohl, if you didn't see the thing from Friday, Dr. Ohl did suggest that he could come to student government some nights if we allowed him to. And if we were open to that, he would be happy to kind of filter any questions that you have about kind of the COVID situation and kind of what he was helping them, the administrators, help in process of what was happening, what was going on, and how they should obviously come up with the policies that they have in regards to COVID. So he texted myself and Allie just to filter out that conversation so further down the road we can get that started up. So please let me know if you have anything about that, or you have any reserved ideas about that. And then obviously COVID just updates, I guess. Again, the dashboard seems like it's heading in the right direction. Hopefully by the time, hopefully by next week or so, after I meet with Vice President Rue and talk to a few administrators, hopefully things can start opening up soon, sooner rather than later. But obviously we just have to get past this point in time with the surge that we had in a couple weeks. But obviously, just keep looking at the dashboard and just keep yourselves updated on COVID issues. If anything, just ask me if there's any questions that you have. Thank you.
Any questions for Miles's report? All right, we'll move on then to my report. So Director Cassius, Aisha Cassius of the Title IX office will be joining us for a Senate in March. She will be giving a little presentation tentatively on March 9th around 7:30. If things change, then things change, but we're really excited to have her join us, and I know she's excited to come. Shauna McNeil, our new co-advisor, will be meeting with co-chairs in the upcoming week and a half or so, and I will be doing that with her. So we have another administrator supporting us. We're really excited to do that. I met with Shauna and myself this week, and it was really a great conversation. I think Caroline's going to talk about this a little bit more, but we're setting up a way to do office hours with the exec. So just stay tuned for that. PR is also working out how to make that work. So if you have students who want to speak directly to a student who has conversations with administrators, that's one avenue that they can do it. But on a similar note, all the concerns that are coming into the concern form, we're working to get directed to the appropriate committee so that individual students can have their questions addressed in a written form, or at least acknowledged in a written form. So just know that that's something that's coming. We're going to ask that the only people who have that contact information are the co-chairs, just so that they can remain a level of anonymity. And I think we are also making the form optionally anonymous. Drew will talk about that more. I'm just more helping him pick which committees they go to. And then this is a reminder that your mental health matters. I said this at Cabinet on Sunday, and I will say it probably 100 more times before we get through the semester. I know there are a lot of students who are resident advisors in Greek life, not in Greek life, in campus organizations. And a lot of times there's a lot of pressure to feel like you have the answers, or you have to bring every question up or be on all the time because you're in student government and in these other sections of campus. And I just want to remind you that we really value your insight as a student member of another organization, but we also recognize that sometimes you just need a break and you need to be a student first and foremost. So please just keep in mind that it's okay to take that break. No one's expecting you to be on all the time, at least certainly not this exec in this body. So just remember that that matters. Any questions? Yeah, what's up, Ethan?
How are you distributing the concerns to committees? Is it based on their constitutional duties, or is it just based on whoever can answer the question?
It's based primarily on the committee's jurisdiction in the Constitution. And then secondarily, if there is a student government member appointed to like a committee, that's, for example, I was on the orientation committee last year. If there was something related to orientation, right? Like I would be the student who got it, even though that wasn't necessarily a DNI thing. So that's kind of why I'm working with Drew just he sends me the concerns, and I say this goes with this committee based on the content. Is that helpful? Any other questions? Okay, we will move on then to Victoria.
Hi, everyone. This is the last week of budget presentations. We're able to cancel next week's presentations because we consolidated all the presentations down to last week and this week's. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Questions for Victoria? Just kudos to Victoria, who has been working tirelessly with all of these meetings. I'm sure it's exhausting, but yay, Victoria. We'll move on then to Caroline.
I met with our new student government co-advisor, Shauna McNeil, today. I'm very excited that she's joining us. And then I also have a meeting later this week with the PR co-chairs to talk about the virtual office hours that exec will be holding and finding a way to publicize that to the student body and just listen to any concerns, just since have been more circulating around with our dark orange status and everything going on with COVID right now. And then as far as logistical questions, we won't have Senate on March 2nd. It's a day off from school, so you don't have to worry about attending Senate on that day, and it's off of the Google Calendar too. And then also SG socials are on hold for right now. And let me know if you have any extracurriculars, but they'll only be approved right now if they're compliant with COVID-19 guidelines.
Any questions for Caroline? Okay, Drew.
Hey all, hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. So PLS, we're continuing to plan for it. We're planning on sending out save the dates sometime this week. We just wanted to get through, all of last week. Ali already spoke on this, but the constituent concern form, we're starting to go through all the concerns and either get them to a committee or the appropriate person to answer them. We do get a lot this week. We've gotten 60 so far, or 60 between last Tuesday and this Tuesday. So we're making our way through them, but continue to push that out. And thank you to everyone who helped with yard signs and signs for CER. You guys rock. I know that was really last minute.
Sorry, guys, I froze, but any questions for Drew? Okay, we will move on then to our lovely advisors, Tim Wilkinson and Shauna McNeil.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Tim.
Hello,
Hi, Tim.
Well done. Well done. Vivian, you were a little late on that one. So I actually have a weighty little report here this week. Hope you're all having a good week. From a COVID perspective, all I can say so far, and this is with all honesty, I don't have a clear picture as when we're opening up, but I can tell you that we're cautiously optimistic. One of the things that I would like you all to think about, as well as student organizations that you are in or that you are friends with, we do not want to get caught flat-footed when we open back up. You know, I continue to get lots of feedback around student frustration with lack of live programming. Obviously, we know why that is based on you know, kind of our paying attention to North Carolina guidelines. Even in our dark orange status, lots of people I think just don't realize, and you know, that's not unusual. But I would like to really think through with any student organization or any committee programs that you would like to be thinking about doing when we return to campus. Or when we return to a reduced orange status or maybe even yellow status. So please, committees, talk about that. If you're in a student org, talk about that. Email myself, email Shauna. Let's set up event planning time now. We actually have a lot of, you know, we are actively talking about things like, how are we going to do Wake and Shake? How are we going to do Shag on the Mag? How are we going to do some sort of virtual campus concerts? These conversations continue and the planning continues. I don't want to forget everything else either. So please put that before your mind. Kind of some specific committee things that have come up over the course of the week. And this will be good, especially Shauna and I talked today. Shauna is going to meet with all the committees to get to know you all and then figure out your real needs and concerns right now, along with Allie. And then the three of us will figure out kind of how we're redistributing committees amongst the three of us to make sure you're getting the support you need. But some things that have come up this week. PR. I know we talked last week about potentially doing a top 10 COVID questions. CER shared the transcript with me today from Dr. All's conversation with Miles the other day. So we have, you know, easy snippets to take a look and figure out how do these help us with the top 10, whether we're using constituent concerns to narrow down the questions and organize them. So I will share this with you and with Shauna. And I'm happy to be part of that meeting as well. But if you all want to get started on figuring that out. Student Organization Council, I don't know if you've set up a meeting with Shauna yet. But one of the things that we are talking about in our office is, again, pivoting back to student organization supports. So obviously SOC support is going to be critical because even with our updated staffing model, we just don't have the bandwidth to be meeting with student organizations in mass the way we need to be right now. And judiciary, not to put you on the spot, are we talking about ranked choice voting for this election? I feel like it came up a few meetings ago. Are we not? Allie, I see the look on your face. I'm losing this battle. Ethan?
So I had actually asked Allie this question over the break, and we discussed it briefly, but decided based on existing precedent that it may not be the best avenue forward, but Allie can speak more on that if she would like.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we very briefly talked about it right before Christmas. I think that's not an ongoing conversation, but it's something we can talk about with our meeting with perhaps Shauna.
Because all right, so many of you don't know this, only a few do. There are very few things that I fight student government on. Ranked choice voting is going to be one of them. If you don't know what ranked choice voting is, instead of just picking one candidate come election time, you rate all of the candidates you're interested in. That way, instead of going to a runoff, if the third candidate is eliminated, for lack of a better term, then the votes get redistributed to your other choices because it helps eliminate runoffs. So I'm by no means saying we have to do it or have to do it for this election, but I would like to have a student government conversation around it. Did I not say ranked choice voting, Brandon, or am I stuttering? Or are you just clarifying for everybody?
I'm saying that I like it.
Right, you know, Everything I've ever said about you, I take back. In all seriousness, whether we use it or not for this election, every year we talk about it. That's fine, Miles. Every year we talk about it after election and we say, okay, we're going to have a conversation about it. Melly and Isabella very much liked the idea, but then we never actually have a conversation about it as a government. So I would really love to see that in the next few weeks, even if it's for next year's election. All right, I'll get off my soapbox for a few minutes. Student trustee applications, just a reminder that they are due on Friday. You know what, I know you're all making fun of me in the comment box, and that's fine. I'm going to put the application in the chat box. If you know somebody, please encourage them to run. If you are interested in running, please run or please apply. I would like to see as many of you in the process as possible. Lastly, you can either shout these out or put them in the chat box. One of the things that we're doing this week is starting broad outreach in both campus life and outside of campus life to get a better sense of what mentoring programs are out there. Things so like Charge, First Year Focus, intercultural ambassadors, because we're trying to figure out every possible way to keep first and second year students. So my question is, when you think about mentoring programs on campus that resonate with you, what are some of them other than the ones that I just mentioned?
I would say in a typical year, the pre-orientation programs provide a really great mentoring outlet,
Yep.
particularly the 3 that come from the Office of Civic and Community Engagement, although they're all great.
Yes, they do. Thank you, Allie. Other mentoring programs? Spark, yep.
I think Wilderness to Wake was awesome when I did it. Definitely keep that up if we can.
Thank you. Charge, yes. Did I not say Charge? Charge, absolutely. Spark, Charge, First Year in Focus, Mosaic. I forgot about Mosaic. Thank you, Isaiah. Worldwide Wake. Okay. If you think of other ones, please let me know, because again, we want to make sure that the ones that are going on right now, we do some more outreach on. Also, we're going to be rolling out this week, I don't know, Sister Circle. Thank you, Isaiah. You're on fire tonight. Also, summits. We are going to put out this week for first and second year students. Some of you may remember last spring, for students who are still on campus, we did Adopt the Deke, which matches up students with faculty or staff who will check in on them 2 or 3 times a week to answer questions or look into concerns. We are going to do that for all first and second year students. We're going to put that out this week. So when we put that out, if student government could assist in getting the word out, we would greatly appreciate it. That is all I have. I'm going to see if my co-advisor has anything now.
No, not much beyond that. I typed in the chat that I have heard from all committees except for one. I was sending Drew a message. Hey, Drew, I got your email, so I will be responding to you shortly. Tim, I thank you for, I have all of these groups now to go look up so I can figure out what makes them so great as far as mentoring programs. But as you heard him say, as we're getting ready to prepare to pivot back to some form of in-person programs, if there's something you want to see, let us know. Our first virtual program didn't quite go off the way we thought. So any thoughts you all have that can increase student engagement, that will be helpful to us as well. That's all I have for now.
Thank you. Any questions for our lovely advisors? Okay, we will move on to committees then. Academic.
Everyone, so major minor declaration week is technically this week and next week. The departments are kind of doing things on their own, so we're gonna try to work with PR to get a graphic up at some point. We're starting planning on faculty appreciation week, which we're targeting for sometime late March, early April. It's to be determined. And then we're reaching out to people in the Intercultural Center and what's the other one? The OPCD about an International Student Career Fair. And then we just have a couple updates from our meeting with ODOC last week. The main thing I want to stress is that if you willfully leave campus, meaning you're not contact traced or you're not put into isolation for something related to COVID, and you have and you like go home and you have in-person classes, you should not expect those faculty members to make accommodations for you. At the beginning of the semester, you signed up to take an in-person class, and faculty expect that you are here unless you are contact traced or have COVID or something of that nature. And then the other thing, actually, that's it. Thank you.
Anything else, Ava?
I think that's it.
Cool. Any questions for academic? My recommendation for academic is to check the student government calendar before you pick Faculty Appreciation Week, and you make sure it's not Mental Health Week or Earth Week, because that will become very confusing very fast. Moving on then to our next committee, Campus Life.
Yeah, hey guys. So we are continuing planning for Mental Health Week. We have a lot of our committee members doing a lot of good work, reaching out to different people, making stuff happen, which is really cool. And we have officially decided on our slogan this year, which is Break the Stigma, which we're really excited about.
Great slogan. Anything else to add, Caroline?
Nope, all good.
Any questions for Campus Life? Awesome. Diversity and inclusion.
We don't have anything to report this week.
Any questions? Okay, then judiciary.
Hey, also, the archival review process is temporarily on hold for now, hoping to get ZSR open and conduct a review of existing records in the Student Government Office. We're hoping to get the Canvas course for the Code of Conduct stuff up and running ASAP. Obviously, the the Conduct Office is kind of swamped at the moment, as you would expect. So more to come on that, hopefully, but we'll let you know. And then as far as Democracy Week is concerned, we mentioned this last semester, but we are still hoping to hold a student government simulation of our actual simulation or our game sort of activity. So we greatly appreciate if you would come on by for that. It should count as an extracurricular, and we'll let you know more about the date for that coming up. So just put that on your radar, and that'd be great. That's all. Thanks.
Anything else, Sydney?
Not too much. There's an event that we're planning on co-sponsoring that's coming up that we can send the dates and information out on that to everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Any questions for judiciary? I just encourage everyone to please sign up for the simulation when it comes out. It will really benefit from more participants, and judiciary spent a lot of time developing this idea, and I think it's a really great one. I will be doing it, so I hope you will be too. Moving on then, though, to public relations.
Hi, everyone. So we just want to thank everyone who helped to repost or or comment on all of our stuff for Academic Resources Awareness Week. It was a really good week. We think we got a lot of the information out there to people who needed it, which is really important. And so now that that's done, we're going to begin to be working on Mental Health Week and Earth Week graphics, trying to come up for their logos and kind of what that's going to look like. We're going to be posting another constituent concern link soon, since that has been really successful. I think it's important to kind of publish that more to the student body. And then, like Caroline mentioned, we're meeting with her this week about a new project about how to kind of publicize the exec office hours so that the student body can get more in touch with those members.
Anything to add, Brooke? Okay. Any questions for PR? I will just say to everyone that I was actually explicitly pulled aside by, Tim is setting exactly what I was about to say. We were pulled aside to say that PR did a fantastic job. I was talking to Miles and Tim when that happened. So the three of us, I guess, were pulled aside. And they did a fantastic job, and it was really appreciated by the Learning Assistance Center. So certainly, thank you to them. We're really proud of the work they did, and it's being seen throughout the campus, which is really great.
And then Dr. Schumann actually followed that up with an email to Vice President Rue about how well it went. So congrats.
We're proud. I'm a proud mom. Moving on to physical planning if there's no other questions.
Hey guys, so on Monday we had a meeting with Mr. Wise to try to get Old Golds at the Bento Asian place in Benson, but he said because it's a third-party vendor, it most likely won't happen, but he's gonna reach out anyway and see if he can work some magic. We began planning like specific days for Earth Week, and like getting more organized with that. And we're going to set up a meeting with the Office of Sustainability. And happy Fat Tuesday, everyone. Hope you had some tacos and some pancakes.
Any thing to add, Megan?
I don't think she's here tonight.
Okay, that's cool. Any questions, anyone? Okay, then we will move on to our last committee, SOC.
What's up, guys? Nothing too crazy. We're really excited to be meeting with Shauna in the coming week. We're scheduled bright and early Monday morning, so looking forward to that. And are you there, Ember, or no?
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. Yes, and then, opening up the conversation maybe a little bit again within our committee of looking forward to the charting process, but then also what Tim was saying, just discussing ideas of how we can continue to be supporting organizations that are, struggling with all things COVID and all things moving forward.
Any questions for SOC? All right, so there's a new slide, guys. We don't have much to discuss formally on this slide right now, but this will be following us through the rest of the semester for COVID updates. We have 2 freshman senators who will be kind of being our outreach arm to different campus offices related to COVID, so that committees like physical planning don't get completely overwhelmed with COVID things. So this will change. I wouldn't expect them to fill in the slide necessarily because COVID is ever changing, but Jackson and Kate will be doing that, and they will be working with Drew primarily, as well as the other members of exec, to be connected with COVID offices. So this will exist. Kate or Jackson or Drew, if you want to say anything here just by way of introduction, certainly feel free, but don't feel as though you need to right now.
Hey, yeah, I can just quickly say something. So yeah, like Ali was saying, like the primary purpose of this like subcommittee is kind of to just take the issues that y'all are having with COVID and kind of bring them along to the right people. So if you guys ever have anything, again, like instead of contacting like anyone in exec or anything, because I'm sure they're super swamped, like you're more than welcome to reach out to Kate or I, and we can also bring that to the right people. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to helping out.
Yeah, and just want to second what Jackson said. And if you guys have any questions or anything, we're totally here. Just trying to take some weight off of all the committees.
Thank you both. Again, proud mom moment. But any questions or anything? I know there's not much in terms of concrete information right now, but any questions?
Ali, not a question. I'm just wondering, is this a good opportunity to follow up with the students who led Friday's efforts outside University Drive in a dialogue about their concerns?
Are you asking if Jackson and Kate would want to meet with them, or are you asking if I have updates? I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying Jackson, Kate, and in this case, perhaps members of exec as well, and maybe a good opportunity to follow up.
Yeah, it's definitely something I would encourage us to look into, and we can do that too. Other questions, comments, concerns on that? Okay, we'll move on to the rest of our agenda then. In a second when I can pull up the rest of our agenda. So moving on, does anyone have new business? Any Senate reports? Constituent concerns?
Oh, wait.
You can go ahead, Tim, and then Caroline Wright.
Okay. This is kind of a random one, but I spoke to Megan about this in our committee, but I don't know if she's mentioned it yet. But I was with the parking and transportation services people, and they were looking to do a like a thing for all of the for the shuttle drivers and stuff, where they wanted students to write letters like thanking them. So I don't know if anything's happening with that, but I figured that I would just bring that up.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. We will circle back with the rest of physical planning, I guess, and perhaps make that an extracurricular for people to write letters. I said Caroline next, I think.
I just want to follow up on something I mentioned in cabinet, wondering if the school had any kind of response, like official statement in regards to the protest on Friday, or if they'd really released any information on how they're handling that / in response to it.
Tim, any idea?
I don't think an official statement won't be coming. I can just tell you that the dialogue that I heard from students and some other administrators who were there were that it was a good opportunity for students. They did a nice job in sharing their concerns, doing some venting, and it's an opportunity to follow up with those students. The other piece that I will say is, what can we be doing to talk about, kind of student to student accountability with the spread. You all know that as an office or as a dean of students, we follow up on concerns. But I think this is also an opportunity for students to engage students and student leaders to engage student leaders in dialogue. We can't stop everything in the moment, but we can talk about what are the harms that are occurring and how can we as leaders look to help students understand that. So I'm happy to help facilitate those conversations if student government is interested in doing so. And I am sure Shauna would assist as well.
Thank you. Kate and then Braden.
Yeah, there was an email that was sent out to all quarantine students or like anybody who had been contact traced. And I believe it was sent out to all people who had also tested positive for COVID, that the quarantine period had been extended to 14 days. But I've since heard from university officials that that isn't true for COVID positive students. So I was just wondering if there was going to be like any sort of clarification on that.
Can you send me the email as well as more details on the response, and I can follow up? Allie, I got your text today and just didn't get a chance to. So yeah, send myself and Shauna that and we'll follow up.
For clarification, the text was, are people supposed to be quarantined for 14 or 10 days? So yeah, Braden, you can go ahead.
I had a concern about whether or not students who have been contact traced are allowed to go to pre-scheduled doctor's appointments that they need to go to that are off campus, or is that just something they should handle with student health on that end?
Just to make our lives easier, Kate, can you include that in your email as well, and we can follow up on that as well?
Okay. Any other constituent concerns? Okay, any announcements?
Just to let you all know, Cabinet asked, we have now removed the requirement to list your name and your email on the constituent concern form. So if they want a response or if they want us to follow up with them, they can leave it. But I know there's definitely some concerns and students voicing concerns with their name attached to it. So it's now been removed.
Any other announcements? Braden, can you do
Allie, can I ask Drew a question? Drew, I want to make sure I understand you. Did we remove it altogether or did we just not make it a requirement?
Yeah, no, sorry, I should clarify. So it's on there if you want to list it, but it is no longer required. The only field that's required is, of course, concern/question, because that's kind of the whole point. But besides that, nothing else was required, although we leave spaces for names, email, and grade but it's not a required form to sign in. So anyone from outside the Wake Forest community can, of course, submit concerns. But yeah.
How do we then know, just a question, my apologies to count it for me being new. How do we then know the difference between a student who has a true concern, maybe a parent who has a concern and is using the form, or someone who isn't related to the university in any way, shape, form, or fashion, who is just being messy, for lack of another term?
Yeah, definitely. And that's something I thought about. I really didn't figure out a way that we could make it so someone can log in. I know students have written in NA or, prefer not to disclose on the forms, but a lot of students have reached out, said they felt inclined to do it. So, I mean, I can certainly look at other ways to do it, or hear feedback on how we can do it. But as of right now, it's just listed as like a field, but it's not required to submit the form. But I definitely see that concern of getting concerns from outside or concerns from parents that wouldn't really be something we could, find out.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Victoria or Ethan, was your concern or announcement relevant to that point?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to say that I was kind of the one that raised that concern with Drew, just because people had come to me. If it's easier for us to just write, like, you can write NA and still make the question required. I just think that a lot of people wanted to ask questions, but didn't want to, like, be known who they were because they felt uncomfortable or if they'd be tracked down later or something. So I just wanted to provide a little bit more background.
Ethan?
My concern is also on this topic, and I was considering raising an objection about this course of action in cabinet, but decided against it. I guess my concern with keeping that section of the concern form anonymous is that if we, for whatever reason, need to contact the individuals about the information they received and inform them that it was misinformation or that the information they had received is incorrect, I think it would be prudent of us to do so. This is not to say, of course, that we want to jeopardize their privacy, but I think maybe a better course of action might be to make the name and email required, but attach a provision to that which would say we will keep this information anonymous and we will only use it in case we need to contact you about the information you had received. But I guess my overall concern was that misinformation could still be proliferated with the system. So thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. Drew, did you have a response?
Yeah, no, I definitely see that concern. And I think one of the things we were talking about, the top 10 questions with, PR and getting that is maybe if we start seeing a trend in false claims or things that are just flying through the rumor mill. Of course, a lot of us, we go out there and we quell rumors. So it's a trend, but I definitely want students to feel comfortable submitting stuff, knowing that, their name is not attached to it, although it's, pretty close in who gets the contact information. But I know a few students have voiced concern over, you guys can, if I tell you something like, they want it to keep private. But I mean, I don't know how everyone else here feels, so feel free to voice your opinion, I guess.
So unless you have something different than what's already said, I would just ask that you can send your thoughts in the chat so we can have it written down more easily and just see what the support is. But it sounds like this is probably worthy of further discussion. So in the interim, I would suggest, unless someone objects, that Drew, you just put a note that you can write in anonymous or NA for now, and leave it mandatory, and then we can carry on that discussion as people have more time to think about it next week, unless there's an objection to that. Okay, so definitely think about that over the next few days and send either your thoughts to Drew or hold them for next Tuesday, and we can revisit the conversation more fully. Any other announcements?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Any Anyone who is opposed to that, please raise your hand using the raise hand function. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.